Hey everybody, welcome to Rivalry Week of college football. We've made it week 13 of the college football playoff season. We are videoing here live from...
We're not at the Diamond Vogel studios,
No.
but we're very close to the Diamond Vogel
and
facility.
Yeah, we are in Orange City, Iowa, in our my grandparents' basement, your parents, on the road trying to pick games.
It's a huge week.
It's Rivalry Week every year.
And forget what's happening out there in the college football landscape. It is a huge week because you and I, after 12 weeks of football and picks and predictions, are tied at a Vegas wrecking
30-19-2.
30-19-2. I'm coming off a 9-1 2-week stretch to feel really good about. Now we're still tied, and it's coming down.
This week's gonna matter. It's gonna matter.
Next week will be conference predictions, conference playoff games, and championship games. So got a lot to take care of here in the last couple of weeks at the PNP.
All right, let's get it started. Game number 1, Friday, the Heroes game, Iowa at Nebraska.
Are we picking the winner? Or are we picking the over/under?
Well, let's do both. Let's have another one of these. The Huskers are favored by 2.5 in this game. Interesting, even though on paper Iowa seems like a much better team. But as these games go, it's always going to be close. Who's going to go first?
I'll go first. So I have picked against Iowa a couple of times this year, and it has never worked for me. So this time I'm going to pick Nebraska. I'm gonna keep going for it. I'm gonna go with Nebraska. 2.5 is just such a tight line. I'm gonna take Nebraska to win this game by a field goal. But we got to come back to the over/under in just a minute, which is 26.5.
A new record low. Iowa sets one basically every week.
What are you gonna do?
I'm going to take Nebraska to cover this game also. I think they have more to play for. I think I was just trying to make it to the Big Ten Championship game with minimal injuries. Just get through, even though it's a rivalry game. You know, the bigger games that lie ahead. Give me Nebraska to win this. More heart over head here.
Okay.
Under
26.5.
That is so low. I really want to take the over in this one, but when it's Iowa and it's Nebraska, I got to take the under here. I see this.
What's your score prediction?
Maybe 7-10.
So 10-7 Huskers.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to take the over. 26.5 is just ridiculously low. I'm just going to play the odds
Doesn't
here.
matter.
I'm going to take Nebraska to win this game. Let's go. 19-14. 19-14 Nebraska.
That's a lot of points for Nebraska. All right. We agree. Game number 2, going to the Iron Bowl on the Plains, where the visiting number 8 playoff hopeful Alabama Crimson Tide are going to be traveling on the road to the Auburn Tigers. Tide still favored by 13. This line has dipped dramatically. It was Bama minus 15, and then bettors started betting a lot on the Tigers to cover this game, so it's dropped to 13.
The same Tigers, mind you, who just lost to
New Mexico State. Well, 26-point favorites, I think they were.
Yeah, and it wasn't even close. It was like 31-10 or something like that. So you get to go first on this one.
All right, I think I'm going to take Bama here. I know it's kind of a trap line, mysteriously low at 13. But I think Bama's going to stay awake for this game and realize even though they have to play Georgia in the SEC Championship, it's a rivalry game. It's going to mean a lot to both sides. Give me Bama because they are by far the better team in this game.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I see this being a lot like what Michigan had last week against Maryland. There's really not a lot to play for. You're just trying to keep the powder dry for the next week. So I think 13 is an interesting number. I'm going to go with you, though. I think it's going to be like a 34-17 type game for Bama. Bama won't put much effort into this. I just think Auburn is legitimately very, very bad. And we know Jordan Hare will be pumped up, to get that win. But I just think that Auburn is a couple of years away under Hugh Freeze. So I'll go with Bama.
All right, we agree again. This could get bad. Game number 3, we are another Friday night game. The former Civil War, they got rid of that term. Now playing for the Platypus Trophy. It is the Oregon State Beavers and the Oregon Ducks. huge matchup here for Pac-12 hopes. If Oregon wins, they are in. If Oregon loses, that opens the door for other teams to sneak in and play Washington. Ducks favored by 14. This is a night game.
Yeah,
in Eugene.
I don't know how public I've been with this, but I said to the Prodigy about 3 weeks ago, I think Oregon's going to win the national championship this year. I'm going to continue to stick with Oregon to cover this. I think they're going to make a statement. I went with the Beavs last week hosting Washington. Really, really fun game to watch in the rain. But Oregon State ended up not quite having enough there to knock off the Huskies. I'm going to go with Oregon here. I think Oregon wins comfortably. Oregon is just a team on a mission right now. I do think they're the best team in the country. And so I think that in this rivalry game, they're going to rise up. And I do think there's a little bit of an intangible effect with Oregon State as they wrap up their play in the Pac-12. But I'm going to take Oregon to win handily.
Yeah, I want to disagree with you, but like you said, Oregon is just peaking at the right time right now, and I think that's
Bo Nick's probably the Heisman favorite.
Man, I think Jaden Daniels is a real case for him too. It's not the team. If it's really a player trophy, then it'd be Jaden Daniels to win this, but you got to be on a good team.
It's really the player trophy. It's Cam Good, but anyway, different topic for a different day.
I would probably say the Ducks are gonna pull this away late. I think that Oregon State's gonna throw all they have on the table just to dethrone the Ducks of a Pac-12 title berth. And even though they went hard against Washington, I think they've still got a little bit to make this game close at the beginning. Oregon will figure it out. Bo Nix will figure it out, and they will be heading to the Pac-12 championship in Vegas.
We'll have to ask our special guest in just a moment because the rumblings right now are Jonathan Smith is the leading candidate for the Michigan State job. So we'll have to see if that pans out. It'd be a great hire for Michigan State.
All right, we agree again. Our boy. Game number 4. It is the game, the biggest game of the week, and arguably the biggest of the year. It is number 2. Ohio State at number 3, Michigan. Michigan is favored by 3.5. You can't hype this game up really anymore. You know what it's going to be. It's going to be a brawl hit between two top teams in the country, and it's going to be intense.
Well, you got to go first on this, and you picked Michigan to win the national championship this year. So, what are you thinking now?
I think that Ohio State is going to control this game. Inside and out. I picked Michigan to win this at the beginning of the year, not understanding that Jim Harbaugh is going to be suspended for half the season and how much of a toll that would take on the players. I think Ohio State, again, another team that is peaking at the right time. They are fully healthy and ready to go. They have more pressure on them. They're playing for, like Ryan Day's playing for his shot right now. And I think that the combination of having Travion Henderson to run it and Emeka Egbuka and Marvin Harrison Jr. to throw it to, that's too much for a defense to handle. And I think without Jim Harbaugh on the sidelines, that J.J. McCarthy will not be himself, giving the Buckeyes to win and cover this game fairly comfortably.
Yeah, so you're just taking the Buckeyes to win. You're going a long ways
I'm
away from the
27-13. I don't understand why Vegas thinks this game is going to be Michigan.
Well, I can tell you why. I mean, Michigan down to down on the season has been as good as anybody. The game's at home, and these types of games often boil down to who has a better quarterback. And I think Michigan has a better quarterback. I would have picked Ohio State at 5.5. The line is at 3.5. I'm going to take Michigan to cover that. I got Michigan winning this game 27-23. Michigan defense holds on a final drive for Ohio State. They know they got to go the length of the field. They can't kick a field goal. They're stopped. Michigan wins 27-23 in this and goes on to play the Hawks.
All right,
It's going to be a very uncomfortable afternoon.
It's not going to be fun, but game number 5.
We got to bring in a special guest.
Guest picker, bringing in
welcome
Mr. Jacob Breen himself. Here at the family gathering, decided to hop in and be our expert analysis picker for the Dordt Northwestern game upcoming this weekend.
Let's ask him, have you heard that about Jonathan Smith being the Michigan State front runner for that job?
I have heard his name, and I've also heard Mike Elko at Duke. I think both would be pretty good hires for Michigan State. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
I think Elko probably would have been a great choice, but the A&M vacancy complicates that a little bit.
A lot of head coaching openings, so it's going to be tough to win those head coaching.
And we've
spot
said,
ever.
both of us have said we have a major man crush on Damian Martinez, the tailback for Oregon State. So if he rides a long piece on saying that's a huge,
That's a problem.
big piece for the Spartans going forward. But we'll see. I think Jonathan Smith will get offered a lot of money to stay. The problem is he's not in the conference anymore. So now it seems like a good time to make a move. All right, so let's go right here at Orange City for the rematch
Northwestern.
no one saw coming and absolutely nobody wants to see.
Nobody wants to really play this game against each other. NAI is just cheap, I guess. Focused on money. There is no real betting line on this game. We were debating this earlier. We'd probably make it around 13.5, maybe 14.5, something around there. I think it's going to be closer with it being a playoff game, and sorry to beat a team twice, and especially when it's colder.
So we're just going to take the strip game predictions here. We don't have a line. Yeah, go ahead.
Score predictions. Give me Northwestern to win this game, something along the lines of 30 to 18.
30
Door
to
covers.
18.
30 to 18. It's cold. It's going to be a little bit lower scoring. But I think the Northwestern will handle this game like they did earlier this year.
Well, I think that my score prediction for the game would be Northwestern 35, Dort 21. I do think Northwestern will have the game at hand the whole time, really. Dort has some things going for them, but overall, I think Northwestern is they're the number one ranked team. They're the number one ranked team for a reason, so I think we're going to see that next week. This week.
I think professional effort by Northwestern. I think guys like Jacob Dragstra, who know a lot of the guys on the other side of the field, are going to rise up in this game. I do think it's going to be closer than last time. I'm going to take Northwestern to win the game. I'm going to say 34-26. 34-26. I think Dort does play with their hair on fire. It tends to happen when you play a team the second time. It never is. It's always closer. It's never as big of a blowout. I think Dort has really an appetite for this more than Northwestern does. But I'm going to lean on Northwestern, Matt McCarty, that high-powered offense, and Mike Story going for the all-time receptions record at Northwestern, among other things. Northwestern wins the game. Chilly day, 34-26. Maybe kind of sort of a little bit of a backdoor cover, as it were, for Dort. I do think Northwestern won't feel scared in this game, but I don't think it will be comfortable either. So,
You got anything else in the game?
I don't think so.
We shall see what happens Saturday at 12, I think.
It all comes down to this.
Noon Central Time.
All right. I'm the preacher.
I'm the Prodigy.
And what are you?
The powerhouse.
The powerhouse.
I like that.
Peace.